So I've made many videos about Loki possibly joining the Straw Hats after the events of Elbaf. What I also think could be possible is that he'll be given a belt via the efforts of the clone of Vegapunk Stella and Vegapunk Lilith, in which he can actually shrink down to relatively manageable sizes, probably the size of someone like Doflamingo or Jinbei, right? But what I think would be a very interesting character interaction that he could have with the crew and the world at large is that perhaps he could be the reverse Sanji. What do I mean by that? You know how Sanji often hits on every woman in the vicinity, right? What if Loki is the opposite and all the women in the vicinity hit on him constantly? Because perhaps he'll stop wearing his blindfold once he becomes a crew member, and every woman finds his eyes not scary but attractive. Even though his eyes look very demonic, it could have the same effect on women similar to that of, say, a male vampire or perhaps an incubus, in which they just find these mysterious entities attractive, which is very possible that could happen because we've seen similar effects like this before in, say, Cavendish of the Beautiful Pirates. However, even though Cavendish revels in the attention, I don't think Loki would particularly be too fond of the attention, seeing as how he's been a scourge of his community and the world for so long. What probably wouldn't help matters either is that, much like Cavendish, Loki has an animal companion in Ragnar, and Ragnar is a cute squirrel, so the women would probably fawn over him because he has a cute squirrel companion too. So I find that a very funny possibility in the future, especially seeing as how Sanji would not appreciate that Loki is getting all of this attention from beautiful women, and would probably try to steal Ragnar away from him so that he could get equal attention. That very well could happen in the future. But this could be a way of turning tragedy into a gag, because the first woman who actually rejected him because of his eyes was his mother, his birth mother, Estrid. So it would be very funny if after joining the Straw Hats, he stops wearing his blindfold, which causes women to fawn over him. And because the attention scares him so much, or it's so troubling, he actually ends up putting his blindfold back on when he's out and about. I think that would be a very funny way of developing his character from something so tragic and very disturbing into something fairly funny and heartwarming. But to continue, now the question is that, would Nami and Robin really respond to how he looks? I don't think they would, like the rest of the world presumably would. I think in knowing the story or being aware of the story attached to his eyes, they would probably treat him like they treat everybody else on the crew. Though I am very eager to see if and when unique interactions or relationships do arise, because they could take a while, because it did take a considerable amount of time for Nami to see Frankie as a big brother, as she calls him that after he and Brooke save her from Big Mom during the events of Wano. So I could possibly see unique interactions arising, but I don't think they would be rooted too much in admiration of a romantic degree. I don't think that would be the case. But I do think that could be the case for the rest of the world, or just common folk in regular islands or what have you. So yeah, that's a brain teaser. I wonder how he'll be perceived by the world. And with that being said, if you are enjoying the video so far, click the like button. And if you want to see more from me, click the subscribe button, followed by that bell so you never miss a video. In addition to, if you could, hit the hype button because it really does help. And with that being said, give me your thoughts and tell your friends about Polypede Works.